God is saying to you. Stop scrolling and take 3 slow, steady breaths with me. In, hold, out. Because whatever happens next is not accidental. Tonight, I need you to listen like someone who has just been handed a lantern for a dark road. This message is for the one who has been chosen, the one who carries a purpose deeper than they sometimes remember, the one whose life has drawn attention. Not always the kind you asked for. There are people moving around you who will smile and bring you coffee and say the right words. They will look like friends. But beneath those smiles, some of them are weaving tracks. This is not meant to make you paranoid. It is meant to give you eyes that can see both halo and shadow at once. You have a destiny that matters. And wherever value gathers, the shadows gather, too. Hear this now as both a careful warning and a steadying promise. The danger is real, but the shelter is closer. God sees both the foxes in the vineyard and the tender shoots they try to nip. He has placed you, and He will protect you. But you must move with clarity, wisdom, and the humility of one who knows both their calling and their limitations. Imagine for a moment a garden at dawn. The roses are luminous because of the delicate work of sun and soil. But there are also thorns and slugs and gardeners who look like they love plants, but carry secret tools for pruning more than is kind. That garden is you. You are cultivated for something beautiful, and anyone who wants to harvest your fruit without planting the seeds willing to work through seasons will appear to be helpful at first. They will mirror your language, echo your virtues, and position themselves close enough to learn when you are vulnerable. Some will be outright predators. Others will be opportunists who think they can use your influence to fast-track their own agendas. The warnings you felt as a whisper in your chest, unease during a meeting, a minor inconsistency in a friend's story, that little feeling that something isn't aligned are not your enemies. They are the quiet alarms God has placed inside you. Do not dismiss them as oversensitivity. Heed them as a shepherd heeds the tremor of a sheep. The cleverness of deception is not always in loud accusations. It is often in small repeated gestures of plausibility. The fox does not roar. He creeps. I don't want you to live in fear, because fear is what the deceiver wants. Fear narrows your world until your choices shrink to only reaction and self-protection. Instead, let this warning widen your wisdom. There is a difference between suspicion and discernment. And the life you are called to requires the latter. Discernment is a quiet, steady thing. It listens more than it speaks. It compares gestures against patterns, and it tests motives with gentle questions rather than loud accusations. If someone enters your life and everything feels too efficient, the flattery too fast, the promises too broad, practice the small art of slowing down. Ask a few harmless but revealing questions. How did you arrive here? Who do you usually consult about this? Can you tell me more about the people who shaped you? Watch for answers that quick step around specifics. People who shade truth will often keep stories at the level of image rather than substance. Ground questions in curiosity, not confrontation, and watch what comes back. One of the most important protections God gives is community, not the flashy crowd, but the quiet circle of people who have seen you across seasons. Protect your inner circle. These are people who know your history, who can hold your reputation when it's under pressure, and who will tell you the truth even when it is costly. If a new person pulls you into decisions with pressure to exclude those steady companions, consider that a red flag. Deception loves to isolate. The first technique of those with hidden agendas is to whisper, "This is between us," while they loosen your ties to the ones who will hold you accountable. Keep your small, trustworthy set close. Let them be your sounding board, not your gossip column. When you feel compelled to act quickly, consult them. 2 or 3 faithful voices will often rescue you from a choice you'll regret evenings later. Accountability is not a lack of faith. It is the wise application of it. God's protective presence is not merely theoretical. It is practical and active. He is the one who notices the small slights that become wedges. The person who remembers what was said in a hallway 10 years ago, the timing of an awkward donation or a suspiciously placed expense. When you pray, not as a ritual but as a conversation, ask for clarity about the people around you. It may sound simple, but an honest repeated prayer like, "Lord, show me what I am not seeing," opens channels of perception that cut through deception. Prayer is not a passive waiting. It is similar to asking for a map when you're lost. God will usually respond not with thunderclaps, but with facts, a memory recalled, an email that arrives, an old friend who calls with timely insight. He uses ordinary instruments to bring truth to light. You will be tempted at moments to respond to negativity with retaliation. The instinct to lunge back is human and understandable, especially when trust has been manipulated. But listen carefully. Vengeance will never serve your destiny. It will hollow you out and entangle you in the very patterns you are trying to avoid. There's a powerful spiritual law in play here. The energy you give out is the energy you bind yourself to. Spend your energy in protection and restoration, not in retaliation. Let God handle justice. That's not hyperactivity. It's wisdom. God's justice is more precise and long-lasting than any human settling. He knows motives and consequences in ways our courts and our gossip never can. When you release the urge to make others pay, you free yourself to pursue the work that matters, your calling, your family, your integrity. Trust that the one who watches all will also act. Sometimes through miraculous turns, sometimes through the slow unraveling of conspiracies, sometimes by sending people who will gently expose the truth. There is an ancient story that echoes this principle. A leader in a small village discovered that some who served him were weaving a story to topple his influence. At first, the whispers sounded believable, and the leader became defensive and hot-headed, reacting to each rumor. In his heat, he enacted policies that alienated even his genuine allies, and for a season the village fragmented. It was when he cooled, called his trusted circle, and asked for evidence and counsel that the truth surfaced with little fanfare. Those who had lied were revealed not by one dramatic blow, but by a series of small inconsistencies that his wise friends noticed. The leader's victory was not in punitive vengeance, but in returning to the work of building with integrity, supporting those who were honest and creating transparent systems that made deception harder. You will win in similar fashion, not by showing how clever you are at striking back, but by making your life too clear and too steady to be easily misread. Staying rooted in faith is your foundation against the sinus of others. Faith steadies your gaze, prevents you from reading every human action as an existential threat, and invites you into a posture of generous suspicion, generous enough to give the benefit of doubt when small, but suspicious enough to test what matters. Rooting in faith looks like returning each morning to the small practices that keep you aligned. A short time of prayer or stillness, a deliberate reading that reframes your anxieties, a walk that clears your head. These small acts create inner space to see things as they are rather than as adrenaline tells you they might be. When your soul is steady, deception loses its edge. It takes secrecy, panic, and haste to make lies look plausible. You will be less likely to be trapped by someone else's cleverness if your daily rhythm is slow and anchored. Compassion might feel counterintuitive in this season, but it is essential. Responding to negativity with love is not about being naive. It is an active holy discipline. Love in this context is not the squishy sentiment that puts you at risk. It is the resolute refusal to let malice shape your soul. When someone harms you, the most spiritually astute things you can do are to name the harm clearly, enact healthy boundaries, and continue to treat people with the dignity of someone created in God's image. That posture confounds cynicism and often disarms those who expect to provoke you. When you keep a posture of love without relinquishing wisdom, you become a force that neither stoops to their level nor is insulted by their tricks. God honors that posture. Practical steps matter, too. Keep a clear record of transactions, conversations, and promises that concern your work and reputation. When something is verbal, follow up with a short, professional email summarizing what was agreed. This simple habit turns gray areas into documented clarity. If someone asks you to keep something between us, politely suggest, I'll note that and follow up with an email so we both have a record. That sentence said calmly and professionally changes the dynamics. It communicates that you do business in daylight. When trust matters, daylight is your ally. Be mindful of digital traps. People who wish you harm often operate through the landscape of social media and the barrage of messages. Separate your public platform from your private decisions. Keep sensitive conversations off public channels and use secure documented means for important agreements. If something feels manipulative online, a private message that flirts with familiarity to lower your guard, a sudden flurry of praise that seeks to make you indebted, treat it with a practiced coolness. Request a video call, suggest a documented exchange, and consult your inner circle before making decisions prompted by those moments. The internet amplifies both generosity and deceit. Use it with discernment. Pay close attention to the quiet messages your body sends. A sudden nod in your stomach when a certain name is spoken. A tension headache that blooms after a tense conversation, a restless night of half-sleep following a difficult meeting. These are not coincidences or weaknesses. They are your nervous system's clear dispatches, small but reliable signals that something in your environment deserves care and scrutiny. Instead of pushing these sensations aside in the name of toughness or logic, pause. Breathe deeply and let the feelings surface long enough to be understood. Step back if you can, even for a minute, and invite a trusted friend or mentor to help you gain perspective. Honoring these physical cues is not overreaction. It is an act of mature confidence, a decision to trust the full wisdom of your body and mind working together. When the wound comes from someone close, the ache deepens. A family member who deceives, a longtime friend who suddenly turns, a colleague you counted on who quietly undercuts you. These betrayals slice sharper because intimacy amplifies pain. In the shock of discovery, you may feel an impulse to scorch the earth, to expose, to lash out, to make the hurt visible to the world. Resist that rush. Measured clarity is far stronger than a public storm. Protect what must be protected. Your finances, your emotional space, your boundaries, while leaving room for the possibility of future understanding. But only if genuine safety and mutual respect are present. Not every betrayal carries the same weight and not every relationship is meant to be salvaged. Some actions reveal a final fracture that demands firm distance, and in certain cases legal or formal steps may be the most responsible choice. Other wounds, though painful, may be born of misunderstanding or weakness and can, over time, be healed through honest work, clear agreements, and the steady rebuilding of trust. The difference often reveals itself in the offender's response. Are they willing to name their wrongs without excuse, to accept consequences without manipulation, to meet you in truth rather than performance? Give time the chance to expose the reality before you decide. Your patience is not passivity. It is discernment. Let testimony, consistent action, and the quiet witness of your own body guide you toward the wisest path forward. Never underestimate the quiet strength found in praying for those who oppose you. At first, it felt unnatural. Why should you lift up someone who has wounded you, betrayed your trust, or tried to block your path? But prayer in these moments is not about excusing or softening the weight of what they have done. It is about choosing freedom for your own soul. When you pray for your enemies, you step outside the cycle of bitterness and retaliation. You decide that their actions will not dictate the condition of your heart. This choice, though subtle, is powerful. It keeps you from being spiritually entangled with the poison of resentment. Instead of carrying their wrongdoing within you, prayer places it into the hands of God who judges rightly and heals fully. In time, this practice begins to change you. It builds resilience, deepens compassion, and reminds you that your strength comes not from revenge, but from grace. And in rare but remarkable cases, prayer can even shift the very atmosphere around the one who hurt you, planting seeds of transformation that only God can water. Yet faith without wisdom is incomplete. Alongside prayer, there must be preparation. Protecting yourself against real-world risks is not a sign of fear. It is a mark of maturity. Take steps to fortify your life where you are most vulnerable. Secure your finances so that no unexpected storm leaves you stranded. If your work, reputation, or relationships could come under attack, consider legal counsel or wise advisors who can stand with you when falsehoods arise. Develop a communication plan for how you will address slander or rumors without compromising your dignity. These safeguards are not paranoia. They are evidence that you take your life seriously and refuse to be caught off guard. Preparedness frees you from panic because you no longer feel controlled by uncertainty. Instead, you live in readiness, steady and clear-minded, able to respond from a place of choice rather than desperation. This balance of prayer and preparation creates a fortress around your spirit. Prayer anchors you in peace, reminding you that you are never alone and that vengeance is not yours to carry. Preparation arms you with strategy, ensuring you cannot be easily shaken by sudden attacks. Together, they form a rhythm of faith and wisdom that shields not only your heart, but also your community. Others will look to you and see a different way of walking through hostility, a way marked by courage, discernment, and unwavering trust in God. In a world where fear spreads quickly, your example of calm readiness will shine as a testimony that it is possible to endure a threat without losing faith, to face enemies without losing love, and to prepare for battle without ever laying down your peace. Every trap laid before you tells a story, but not about your weakness. It reveals the hidden struggles of those who scheme. When someone plots against you, it often springs not from strength, but from fear. Fear of being overlooked. Fear of being unmasked. Fear of losing ground they thought was theirs to keep. Their snares are a mirror of their own unrest, not a measure of your worth. And when you recognize this truth, your response shifts. Instead of being pulled into cycles of bitterness or vengeance, you stand steady, rooted in clarity. You can acknowledge their brokenness without excusing it. And you can protect what is good without hardening your own heart into cruelty. This is the balance of wisdom and grace. Firm enough to guard your soul. Tender enough not to become what wounded you. But do not stop at defense. Remember the truth of who you are. You are not set apart because of worldly status, sharp intellect, or sheer willpower. You were chosen because your life carries a divine assignment, a purpose woven carefully by God's own hand. That purpose is not a medal to boast about, but a sacred trust to guard. And guarding it begins with protecting your inner life. The more you anchor yourself in faithfulness, quiet prayer, steady devotion, time in scripture, and moments of stillness, the less the schemes of others can take hold of you. What they devise in darkness cannot cling to a soul bathed in light. This is why your daily choices matter so deeply. It is easy to think that resilience comes from strategy alone, but the strongest shield is a nourished spirit. Feed your heart with truth. Surround yourself with voices that ground you and keep company with those who remind you of your higher calling. Fill your inner reservoir so richly that no slander, betrayal, or setback can drain it dry. Outward tactics may deflect attacks, but inward strength renders them powerless. And when you live from this place, you embody a kind of authority that no enemy can counterfeit. You become untouchable, not because trials cease, but because they can no longer define you. Your life radiates a steady assurance that you are chosen, not because of might, but because of mission. Hold to this identity. Protect it fiercely. Let it guide every response. For in the end, the truest victory is not in outsmarting every plot, but in walking through them with your purpose intact, your heart uncorrupted and your spirit unbroken. Now let us come together and pray with both reverence and trust. Sovereign Lord, Maker and Guardian of our souls. We bow before you with hearts that are both warmed by your love and still tender from wounds the world cannot see. You, who search every hidden place and know the deepest motives of every heart. We acknowledge your perfect wisdom and infinite care. Nothing escapes your gaze. No scheme is hidden from your sight. We lift before you your chosen ones who carry the weight of purpose and the light of calling. Shield them from those who smile while quietly setting snares, from words that flatter but aim to fracture, from plans conceived in secrecy or malice. Grant them an alert spirit and a discerning eye to recognize what is true, to sense the subtle shifts of danger or deception, and to pause when haste would lead them astray. Give them the courage to set wise boundaries and the humility to listen when your spirit whispers caution. Teach them to respond not with vengeance or fear, but with measured love that reflects your character. Remind them that true justice belongs to you and that your timing, though mysterious, is always sure. Surround them with companions of steadfast faith, friends who speak truth even when it is hard, mentors who offer counsel rooted in your word, and allies who will stand firm when storms arise. Heal the places where trust has been broken. Lord, bind the wounds left by betrayal or neglect. Replace suspicion with holy discernment and fear with the calm assurance of your nearness. Let forgiveness flow through them as a testimony of your grace. Yet give them the wisdom not to return to harmful patterns. Anchor them in the unshakable knowledge of your love and presence. Let their minds be guarded by your peace, their hearts strengthened by your promises, and their steps ordered by your guidance. May their lives, even in adversity, shine with the quiet glory of those who rest beneath the shadow of your wings. And for every unseen battle they face, be their refuge and their victory. Let clarity rise like morning light and courage grow like a rooted tree. In every decision, every encounter, and every silence, may your name be honored and your purpose fulfilled. In the shelter of your everlasting arms, we find refuge, clarity, and the deep peace that guards our hearts. We trust your justice. We welcome your wisdom, and we rejoice in your steadfast love. Amen. If this message landed in your heart and stirred a quiet strength within you, take a moment to claim it as your shield. Type "protected" in the comments below as a declaration that you will move forward with wisdom, discernment, love, and prayer. Let your words anchor your spirit and serve as a visible commitment to walk through life with both courage and caution. Share this video with someone who may need guidance on navigating challenges with grace. Someone who needs the reminder that protection is not just about guarding yourself, but about walking carefully in love and integrity. If this message strengthened you, like the video to affirm your readiness to receive divine guidance and subscribe so that more messages of encouragement, protection, and insight can reach you exactly when you need them. Tap the notification bell to ensure that you never miss the next word of wisdom. Sometimes the guidance that comes at the right time can change the course of a day, a week, or even a life. Remember, beloved, the world may be full of uncertainty, tricky paths, and hidden dangers. But you are never alone. You have a shepherd who knows every turn, every shadowed corner, and every step you are about to take. Trust this presence. Lean into its guidance and allow it to steady your heart while you move forward. Walk carefully, walk with kindness, and remain rooted in the love that will not let you stumble, falter, or fall. And if this message resonated deeply with you, consider supporting this work through a super thanks of up to $20. Your generosity helps keep these messages flowing to those who need courage, clarity, and spiritual direction. Stand in faith, beloved, and step into each day armored with wisdom, protected by love, and guided by the hand of the divine. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to reach 10,000 divine subscribers very soon. Please share this video to your loved ones. Type Amen to affirm. Thanks for watching.